Hello, my name is Junius Welch. This is Welch on Society. Today I want to try to talk to you about the relationship between money and taxes and the fact that a lot of people resent their taxes being taken from them because often it's an extractive process. When we think about taxation, a lot of us go into a lot of different ideas. Some of these ideas include they're taking too much. Other ideas include such things as, yay, libraries, schools, fire trucks, etc. Others are upset about where their taxes are going. Why are my taxes supporting this certain group of people? Why are my taxes going to kill people in foreign countries, etc.? Ultimately, we think of taxes as an amount of money which is, shall we say, redistributed by a government. This method of taxation, however, is not the only option. When we think about labor as the source of value, when we think about work as the source of money, it becomes very clear that we can do taxes in a much more direct fashion. What I mean by this is thinking of taxation less as moving money around and more about community service. When people do community service, that is labor, and it directly affects the local community. Picking up litter is something that someone's going to need to do, and sometimes tax money is diverted to that purpose. However, using an equivalent amount of time, we can contribute to our local community, and that could be considered our taxes. By using a community service model of taxation, we notice two, I would consider, desirable effects. The first desirable effect is it keeps everything focused on the local community. The labor is done locally and appreciated locally. The materials that would be involved in the creation of projects or the repair of whatever's going on would also come from the local community. This has environmental benefits as well as a common sense of helping, a sense that we're in this together. The second effect, and this is slightly related to the first effect, is taxation becomes much less extractive. Taxes from one group of people cannot be sent across the world to be used against another group of people. Additionally, in this way, any projects that do not have wide appeal aren't going to get done. For example, if enough people decide that using tax money for violence is unacceptable, then people literally vote with their feet, vote with their hands, by refusing to participate in that particular system. A corollary to this point, although it will seem like a contradiction, is in order to get something done with taxes, it requires a very small number of people. If a community decides that a bench should be built in a park, it takes only a few people to construct the bench and another few people to put the materials into a usable form. In this way, minority groups, whoever they may be, can still make a positive impact in their community. I think the most important aspect of this is taxation, rather than becoming an annual festival of resentment for the population, becomes a source of pride. People can walk down the street and see ways in which they have contributed to their society and feel good about themselves. Perhaps multiple times a year as they pass whatever projects they've participated in. These projects could be small, as the park bench example, or it could be large, as the growing of the food that the people are eating, the construction of buildings in which the people live. And perhaps we can move towards a future where the idea of taxation becomes contributory rather than extractive. This has been Welch on Society. If you've enjoyed what you've seen and you want to see more, do the internet stuff. I hope to see you next time. In this way, taxation becomes a method through which people take more pride in their communities rather than a annual resentfulness festival of resentment.